G'day guys, some of you may recognise this car. So this is a car that I did a video on the other day. I uploaded the diagnosis of a failing injector, and it's been a couple of days and I was very upset with how that video came out. I diagnosed it off cam initially, and in order to get something up on YouTube, trying to get another video up, I quickly rushed and did a very half-assed job at diagnosing it and showing you guys how we did it. So this is a bit of a rehash. I'm going to do the actual diagnosis again, and I'm going to put this together, part 1 and part 2, the diagnosis and the actual repair. So we're going to do a no-nonsense setup here. We're just going to put the connections on the exact way it should be done. No mucking around, all the tools here on hand straight away and just get it done. No nonsense. Explain what we're doing, what we're seeing on the scope, why it's happening, and why we have a failing injector. So I'll get that set up. For the people that haven't seen this video before, then this will be obviously a new video, but for the ones that initially saw my post the other day, it will be the first couple of minutes will be the actual diagnosis or the viewing of the code. Just that way, if people haven't seen this before, they know where we started. So if you have seen this, then fast forward that part and we'll get you to the test part. G'day guys, today we've got a 2011 Skoda Octavia. It's come in for an engine light on, running rough. So the first thing we're going to do is put the scan tool on it. Being in diesel, I dare say I'm going to get the Pico out. So what I'm going to do is I will get the Escan out and read the codes and see if we can do maybe a relative compression test with it, depending on what comes up from the codes. But because I run my Pico off the laptop and the Escan is off the laptop, I'm just going to do that. It's going to be easier. So I've just got the little Escan down there, hopefully you can see it. So I'll get you set up and we'll go check the Escan and see what codes are in the system. Okay guys, we're set up here, so I'm just going to easily go to DTCs over here. Let's see what we've got. We've got P0201 injector circuit open cylinder 1. So usually this refers to a fault with either wiring, the injector itself, or the actual computer that controls it. So clear DTCs. No DTCs present. Let's just read it to make sure. No DTCs present. So let's go back over to the car, start it up and see what happens. Alright, we're back in the car. Let's just start it up and see how it goes. Still got the misfire. Let's go back over to the Escan. Same code is back again, so this obviously refers to the injector circuit. So we know, we could do a relative compression test, but we're not going to. We're just going to go straight for that injector circuit. Some people just like disconnecting the connector, doing a resistance test, seeing if the injector's open circuit. You can do that. I don't really like disconnecting plugs before I do any checks, because sometimes the connector can be the actual issue. So this is the way I like to do it. There's many other ways to do it. If you've got your own way, then fantastic. You don't have to do it this way. I'm just showing you the way that I do it. So what we're going to do is we are looking for PCM command at both of these wires. The PCM controls both of these wires, and we just have a current clamp on here. With the way that electricity flows, we know that if we have a power and a ground and the component is operating, it must draw amperage. So if we've got a component that's got power and ground and has no current draw, no amperage draw, then we know that that component is faulty. The good thing about stuff like this is that we can just compare it to the next cylinder. So sometimes you just don't need to know. You can overcomplicate it, you can overthink it. Let's just get the test done, compare it to the next cylinder. We prove that it's not working. We'll look at the waveforms and then we know what we'll have to do. Connected, we're running. Let's go look at the waveform on the screen. As you can see, we have control at both of the injector wires, control from the PCM, but our green trace is the amperage and we've got no current amperage at all. So we know that there's control to this injector and it should be working, and it's not. So we know that this injector needs to be replaced. And what we'll do is we'll go over to the known good number 2 and we'll look at what the current ramp does when we set it up on that one. Alrighty, as you can see, we're at number 2 now. Drain. and we see our voltages look exactly the same as number 1. This injector's working, and we're going to confirm it. I'm just going to move, some of the wires are a pain, so I'm just going to move. I'm going to take these 2 off, and I'm going to put the current clamp around it and look at it separately, because I need to do it back. It's a little bit annoying trying to do the zoom with this one. There we go. I've just paused that screen and I've turned the car off because it's really noisy. So here we go, that's our good waveform of a working injector. As you can see, we've got positive current flow here, and then we have got reversed current flow down there for all 3 injections. So that's how it should look, and number 1 doesn't look like that. It's got the same PCM control as number 2, as you can see from what I showed earlier. So we know that this is definitely a faulty injector. So what we're going to do is we are going to put that new injector in, and then we're going to coat it with the VCDS, and then we'll retest the same thing that we did earlier with all 3 connectors on the number 1 injector. Okay, so these injectors aren't too hard to replace. So what we're going to do is we're going to depressurize the fuel system. Then we're going to disconnect this plug here. Then we're going to take out that little clip on the return line. Obviously we're going to pull this out. That's got a little O-ring on it, so we want to make sure that's intact, and we may have to replace that depending on the condition of it when we pull it out. We're going to undo this fuel line, obviously at this end and this end too, so we can get it out of the way. Once that's off, we'll remove this bolt here, take off this bracket that holds it down, and then we can take that injector out. Hopefully it'll come out easy enough. And what we'll do is when we get the new one, we will make note of the numbers on here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that very well, but that is the numbers that we're going to need to code this injector in with VCDS. So I'll get that swapped over for you, and then once the new one's in, we'll get those numbers and we'll jump on the VCDS and I'll show you how it's coded. Alrighty, the brand new injector is in. We actually did have to undo the second injector as well and lift it all up as one piece, just because of the way the bracket that holds them down. But anyway, the injector's in. We're going to get that code from the top here, and I'm just going to take a photo of that one, take a photo of the original one, and we'll go over to the VCDS and we will code this in. Okay guys, sorry about the glare. You might actually see my ugly head in the reflection here. Anyway, all we do is we are in the VCDS, we have the key on, we go to select control module. It's a little bit slow on my surface, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, we'll just see how we go. It's very ugly, hopefully you can see that very well. Anyway, that's loading. We have to get security access first. So it's quite easy to use. We literally just come to this page, it tells us what to put in. 27971, do it. Security access is accepted. Now we can go back to adaptation. And we will choose our channel injection 1 correction value, and as we can see, this is the original injector's coding, so we know we're in the right spot. You can see there, that's the original one, B7HGJL, 0 on the end. So what we'll do is we put the new one in. I'll show you what that is. So we'll just go down here, we'll leave the 0 on the end, we'll delete all that. We will go 9BD. I don't think the capitals matter, but I'll put in the capitals for good luck. 9BD, BGJ, BGJ. Once we're in, we'll just confirm we've got that right. 9BD, BGJ, 0, do it. Replace, yes. Controller is reading, we'll now read the channel again. Okay. And that is locked in. That's all done. So what we can do to confirm that is let's just go back out. Let's go adaptation. Let's go back to injector 1 correction value, and we can see our new value has saved. So that is done. All we have to do is start the car, make sure there's no leaks, and that's ready to go. So let's just go down, start the car now. Obviously that was a bit of a hard start because the fuel was depressurized, so it took a while to build back up. but we have got a perfectly running car now. As you can see, the engine light is still on because I haven't cleared the codes yet, but the glow plug light is off, which indicates there's no current fault. So I'll just make sure there's no leaks, and we'll get the scope back on it and we'll do another test, and I'll show you what the good one looks like. Okay guys, we're back on with the new injector. We're running very good. As you can see, well, you probably can't. We've got our command from the PCM and we've got our green current trace. And what I'll do is I'll pause that and we'll zoom in. Seeing current, you know that it's working, it's getting power, it's getting ground, it's getting switched, and you can confirm that that injector is actually getting controlled and working. If you do this test and you put the amp clamp on and you've got no current, then you can look further. So you can either do all three wires together or just the one channel with a low amp clamp, because as you can see, we'll just go straight up. We can see we've got amperage now. We've got our waveform. That's what we're looking for. We've compared it to the rest, and we know it's exactly what we're looking for. So, pretty simple test, guys. And like I said, you know, it's one of those things that everyone's got a way of doing things, and people can say you're doing things wrong, you're doing things right. I've got a better way. You've got a better way. It is what it is. This is the way we do it. This is the way we test it. And this is how we diagnose and fix this car. Thanks for watching, guys.